Okie doke. Okie doke. Yeah, I know there's a distinct lack of background audio. Let's change that. Do this. Can't close that. Yeah, that one's fine. Rain though, rain. We've had enough rain. Looking up Seattle ambiance or ambience tracks is quite difficult because it's all rain. It's rain, 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 or just like city sounds. Which yeah, I live here. I get enough of those. So rain it is. Oh, okay, that sounds better. No, but that did not sound good. I don't know what to play, so we're just talking now. We're just talking. It is day. Oh god, my water bottle's in front of this. I cannot see. It's Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. How's it going? You know what? If we're just gonna have a intimate detente is not the right word. I wanted to say detente, but that's definitely not what's happening here. Well, just a little intimate hang sesh. I gotta quit clicking out of that tab. That sounds cursed for me, anyway. It gets very artifacted, that audio, every time I click out of it. Just hang out and talk a little bit. Maybe hop into playing something, but none of this shit's super appealing right now. None of it. And there's a lot of good games, but I don't really want to be critical right now, or negative, or analytical. It's just like my whole fucking online identity, right? So, joke's on me. Yeah, I don't know. It's, like, how am I doing? Right, we can start there. I'm doing pretty well. I'm trying out a new schedule, which I'm liking a lot. Which I have mixed feelings about. So generally scheduling is not my forte. Like, making plans, totally fine, but like the idea of adhering to a schedule is deeply claustrophobic for me. Deeply claustrophobic. Like, just fucking horrifying. Just absolutely fucking horrifying. The thought of I'm gonna wake up at the exact same time every single day, I'm gonna go through the same motions every day, and it's just gonna be on repeat ad nauseum. That sounds like torture. That sounds awful to me. So in the past, when I've lived with people, dated people, and they've been like, oh, maybe we can do scheduling to figure out like when chores get done, or who does what, or divvy up the labor. I've always been like, I don't like that. Not because I'm like, you're trying to control me, or I don't want to work. Yeah, I don't want to work, but who fucking does? It's more, yeah, this sense of dread and claustrophobia that's really quite unpleasant. I'm not feeling that. And I think it has to do with the same sort of notion that, like somebody going to therapy because somebody tells them that they need to go to therapy. The probably won't. I mean, they could. They could have a very meaningful interaction there and a very meaningful process. But a lot of these change needs to be. You gotta want it, right? You have to do it in good faith, I think. That's not exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, not in good faith. Like, you gotta do it for yourself. Any change that you want to make in your life. You can't do it for other people. You can't. Well, you can try to do it for other people. You can try to do it for, you know, a myriad of reasons. But ultimately, like, selfish motivation is wildly successful. At least for me. I may be projecting here. So, like, a prior partner of mine wanted to have, like, a calendar with chores written on it, and, like, every Tuesday this gets done, every Wednesday this gets done, etc., 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 and whose job it is to do it changes on the week. That way it isn't more fair or less fair to anyone. And it wasn't, like, as irritating in the same way that, like, having daily chores at work is. Like, I've worked in hospitality, cleaning rooms and bathrooms, and, like, doing pretty thankless labor for inconsiderate clientele. That's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me was, like, it was prescriptive. It was, okay, here's the chore chart, this is the way things are, like, this is the best way to do things, I'm open to other ideas. You're not really open to other ideas when you're just throwing all this out and dictating it. And their intention was to save other people the work of contributing to the chore chart and arrangement and blah, blah, blah. When it's just me, I could do the depressed person thing that I've been doing my entire fucking life and just waiting until it's bad enough that I can't stand it anymore. Which doesn't work. Which doesn't work if you have any kind of like moderate to severe depression. It doesn't work. Because when it gets bad enough that you can't stand it anymore, you just start taking, like, psychic damage from it at that point. You don't suddenly get the motivation to do it. You get less motivated because internally you're like, I'm a piece of shit for letting this get so bad. I should have dealt with this sooner. I suck. And then that takes away a lot of your emotional energy and emotional capacity to actually, like, do work. It uses up your metaphorical spoons. And you have no spoons, so you can't do anything, right? I've navigated that minefield a long time. Now, I'm like 2 days into this. So, you know, check back in a week, check back in a month, check back in 6 months and see if I'm still doing this. But for me, it alleviates a lot of stress and it helps me feel like I'm in control of things when I'm not, by making lists and organizing stuff. So I totally understand why this past partner of mine did it, because she desperately needed to feel like she was in control. She had some pretty tangible anxiety, and this was one way that helped her feel less anxious, right? So I get it, but it's one thing when you make a plan for yourself, right, and you adhere to your plan and that empowers you. It's another thing when you make a plan and then either expect other people to adhere to it, or how do I phrase this? It wasn't like reacting negatively to me not wanting to do it. That I get. But more just like losing that sense of control when other people wouldn't adhere to it or didn't adhere to it, and the accompanying knock-on effects that had. I get it. It's kind of outside of her control, but it just adds an extra layer of duress to adhering to and conforming to these expectations. Because I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm not doing it because we agreed to. I'm doing it because you want it to be done. I'm doing it the way you want it to be done because that's how you want it to be done. And I'm doing all of this in order to try to mitigate the effects it has on your mental health, not mine. The way it makes you feel, not me. And I'm doing all of this for you. That's a bad motivator. That's a bad motivator when you're sharing a space, because none of this was taking root in a sense of ownership, in a sense of responsibility for myself and my space and the shared space. Their need was so profound and potent and strong for them that for me became the prevailing motivator. Which, I don't know, that sucks. Like, I'm not doing this because I care about the thing, or I like the thing, or I care about my space, or I respect myself. I'm doing this so that this person won't suffer not a breakdown, right? I really don't want to over characterize the reaction, but like, not even like a microaggression, but like suffer these like tiny chips being chipped away at. Like, that sucks. That sucks. And accompanying that, me having on occasion engaged in a little bit of crippling depression, it's really incompatible, because then, like I was talking about earlier, when it's just myself and it's just me I'm accountable to, when I let things get away, I'm a worthless piece of shit, why did I do this, I suck, and then I'm unable to do it. Add on top of that normal self-derision, feelings of letting someone down, disappointing someone, making a trend out of disappointing them or letting them down, and having that eat away at my sense of self-worth and self-value. And yeah, no, it's a terrible combination, and it's such a negative feedback loop that, yeah, I really struggled with at the time, and retroactively I struggled with the idea of how do you how do you intervene there and stop that self-perpetuating cycle? I think in me taking ownership of it and responsibility of it. But the issue becomes, do my practices or patterns or methodology or standards meet up to the standards of this other person? And I'm a lot less sensitive to clutter and dirtiness than this person was. We grew up in very different backgrounds, and they definitely have some interesting neuroses that I don't at all share. Yeah, no, it's pretty difficult. So, wrapping back to me, it's been weirdly nice to just, like, enjoy it. Like, I wake up at 6 every day. I have an hour to have breakfast, which is way more than I need. Then I have an hour to work out, which is more than I need. Then I have an hour for hygiene, which is like showering and brushing my teeth. It's more than I need. And then with 2 hours to get that day's chores done, which I've basically broken down into bedroom, living room, bathroom, kitchen, cooking. So 5 days. Weekends are off. And then we have lunch, which is an hour, which is, again, more time than I need. Then a 2-hour mandated outing. So I'm already working out for, like, I'm going on a half-hour run, right, without leaving my apartment. I need to be out with the people. With the people. I need to be out amongst civilization. Even if I'm not talking to people, I need to be around people. I need to be less. I need to get used to it because I've been inside so long, working my fucking night shift job. Plus, you know, this year of quarantine after that. It's basically been about 2 years since I've had consistent, normalized interactions in a public setting. Now I'm working on it, right? I feel like a fucking alien. Like, what do people do? What do humans do? Do I just go chill at a fucking bar all day? I could. I've been going thrift shopping. Day one, got some sweet stuff. Got a pillow with a German map of the Ionian Sea on it. I don't know. It kind of fits my decor because I have fucking maps everywhere. This is a cute pillow. I didn't even realize it was in German until I got it home. I'm like, huh, how the fuck did I not realize that? I got some watercolor paper pad. I didn't realize it was watercolor paper until I got it home. I got some colored pencils, and I got a pot for one of my plants. Very exciting, right? Very exciting, but it was fun. I spent like $18. It's great. Walked around, got some sunlight, and I was just around people. And there's something that takes a while to get used to when you move to a city from a rural area or a less urban area. There's this paranoid sense of being watched all the time. You're not, I mean, you are being watched, like, constantly when you're in the city because you're just constantly visible. And as a drunk old dude in a bar once described me, I am very much a hider. I cover my mouth when I cough, or sneeze, or chew. I try to not make a lot of noise. I try to stay out of people's way. I don't like injecting? That's not the right word. Imposing on people or putting myself in conversations I'm not a part of. That's a big part of why, even though I may be a part of various communities, I work. I'm a fucking worker. I read, I listen, but I don't speak unless I'm like very certain it's, you know, kosher to, it's a good time to, and I have something worth saying. Which is just the complete opposite of what I do with this fucking channel. This channel is just me making noise into the void, which I like. Because it's so different from how I tend to operate. No one gives a shit about you in the city. That's honestly the case. You can look like complete garbage, people will just look on past you. Even if you look like super cool or super attractive, fucking nobody's gonna stop and talk to you. Like, what kind of creeper would stop a stranger on the street and be like, hey, I like your shirt. Alright, cool. You like my shirt? Thank you. Carry on with my day. Like, there's no way to meaningfully engage with each other. There is, but I don't know, man. It all strikes me as just incredibly weird and awkward and, like, inconsiderate. Is being in a public space is often, is most often a necessary thing in order to get from A to B, from home to work, from home to Pilates, or getting dinner, or going to the grocery store, or seeing the doctor, or fuck knows what else, right? Going to a funeral, who knows? Being in public is not an invitation to conversation. It's not an invitation to engage, right? Being in public is just a consequence of going from A to B in the city. And really anywhere, but in the city primarily, because we have a lot more pedestrian traffic, we have a lot more people using, buses and trains to get around. You're around people, but you're not around people who are in a space consenting enthusiastically to engaging with other human beings. They're not. So that's why I don't approach people in public, because it's fucking weird. It's not like the understood space to do that in. It might be hard or awkward for them to get away. Might be hard or awkward for me to get away. And it's just, no. Like, I don't even like being approached in public. I've had people outside a bar, very drunk when I was on my way home from work, like, put their arm around me and start trying to be like, I want to go home with you. I'm like, I don't fucking know you. I'm trying to go home. I don't want to fucking deal with this. It's just... It's weird. It's weird. Now, there are dedicated spaces to meeting people and engaging with people, like bars that try to stylize themselves as singles bars, or game nights at different bars or different clubs, or board game shops or whatever, or I don't know, whatever the fuck singles events are, or workshops or co-ops, or like activities that you agree to do that are in a group setting. Those are understood mediums to, like, yeah, you're there tacitly or even primarily to participate in the thing, but also you're doing it with the knowledge that there are other people around, and that's a motivator as well. Dance classes, for example. Very hard to take dance classes alone. There's a partner involved. It sucks, though, that almost all of these ways to meet with other people, to expand your social circle, to expand your network, costs a little money. And there's a price to pay. Whether it be for drinks at the bar, or a table, or lessons, or whatever else. It's so interesting that we don't have like dedicated public spaces that are set aside for people to interact with one another. As a way to convey, hey, I'm open to talking. Hey, I wouldn't mind being approached. Things like that, right? I don't know, like, I am wildly overthinking it. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Alex. I do a lot of this. I don't know. It's super interesting. Super interesting to me to tease apart these things and to think about. So yeah, it's been nice getting used to this sense of being constantly seen, constantly observed, because it's not a comfortable feeling for me at all in any way. Like fuck, today when I was at thrift stores, or in a part of town I normally don't go to because it's up a giant fuck off sized hill from me, and I didn't walk up the hill, I just took the bus. And retrospect, it's not so bad going to that part of town if you just take the fucking bus. Bumpkus, nothing. I found nothing that I liked. And I was just like, man, I've been in this thrift store so long. I feel obligated to buy something, because if I don't buy something, maybe they'll think I'm stealing. This is how my brain works. That, like, I walked in, I have to buy something now. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know. Just, anxiety. Just anxiety. So I didn't buy anything. At one thrift store, and I'm like, okay, well, there's another one. Surely this, I'll find something. No. Like, I was at the point where I was looking at fucking books at thrift stores, being like, I don't know, what's your history section like? No, nothing good. Nothing good, let me tell you. I did find one jacket I really liked, but it was, not big enough for me. It was too small. It was, I don't even know how to describe it. Very, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. It was meant for a smaller person than I, which is saying a lot. Found it interesting, though, today while I was thrift shopping. Goodwill didn't gender their clothing section. It was just by color of the various items of clothing. And, you know, they'd have labeled, like, jeans, or pants, or button-up shirts, or dresses, or skirts, or whatever. But it wasn't gendered. That was not the case with the Goodwill I went to yesterday. And that wasn't the case with the far more, like, seemingly progressive store I went to after. Which was super fucking interesting. I don't have a takeaway. I was just kind of... Weird. Management at this store made a good choice. It shouldn't be gendered. It shouldn't be gendered. It should just be based on size, and that's it. Smallest to largest, and throw some, you know, Roy G. Biv in there to help organize when they're all the same size. By the way, finding a purple fucking button-up that doesn't look like shit, very hard, apparently. I kept getting excited every time I'd see, like, a purple shirt, and then I'd look at it, and like, it's a University of Washington shirt. That's great, yep. I want that. Yeah. Like, dog, I couldn't even find any, like, throw pillows that I wanted. Or even, I found, like, a pot that I'm like, I could put one of my plants in this. But it was, like, pretty boring. Dark green or dark blue. It was really hard to tell. Meh. I could tell, though, that it was made at the same, pottery. That's not the right word. Potter. Still not the right word. Same factory as the pot that I picked up yesterday, because it had the same maker's mark on the bottom. The exact same maker's mark. That was neat. And I picked up the pot next to the one I was like, oh, maybe I'll get this. And it, too, was exactly the same. Some German company, I don't know. They make some pretty boring, unassuming pottery. Which, to some, I suppose, is an accomplishment. To me, it's a quality. It's a quality. We'll call it that. And then I walked, like, what, a mile home? It ended up being more than a mile home, because Seattle streets and crossing I-5 is never just as easy as going in a straight line. And I stopped by to get some bubble tea. I did not get bubble tea. I was tired. I was standing outside of this fucking bubble tea shop, staring through their window like a fucking creeper, looking at their menu, and this, like, family inside kept looking at me like I was staring at them. I'm like, you are between me and the menu. I don't want to go inside and just stare at it like an asshole in case I decide I don't want anything. So, like, you know what? You're just gonna have to deal with me creep. You can fuck off. They did look, like, thoroughly uncomfortable, which is, get out of... what do you want? What do you want from me? For the life of me, I could not figure out where on their menu bubble tea was. Where the boba at? Where the boba at? Nowhere on the menu. And it could just be that they didn't have it. So I got a really nice mango milk tea and walked home. That's it. Nothing really all that exciting. But it was a good day. And I came home. What did I do? Honestly? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you what I did when I got home. Melted on the couch. Did some interneting. Oh, I streamed! Right, fuck, I was on here streaming earlier. My brain is very well in place. This is why I didn't do any fucking coding today. My brain is a little fried, and I am not coding and having to correct that later. Shaved. And I'm back. So yeah, I'm doing well. Things are scheduled, and I'm liking it. Because I'm not beholden to anyone else if I fuck up the schedule. I'm getting oddly tolerant in forgiving for myself. Like a lot of my depression comes from this sort of sentiment I was describing earlier. Like, I'm a piece of shit. I should have been able to do this. I didn't do it. What's wrong with me? Like this relentless self-critiquing. When I was shaving, I'm down to my last razor. And I started doing the, come on, Alex, you should have known that you hadn't shaved your legs in like a few weeks. Maybe a little bit longer than that. Who's counting? I should be, but who's counting? And I started getting a little bit of the anxiety of like, well, fuck, if I run out, then like, the day after tomorrow when I'm scheduled to shave again, I won't be able to do so very well, and it started building up. I'm like, it's fine, not a big deal, not a big deal. You can just like pick it up when you can. And that's such a small goddamn thing. It's such a small thing, but I am very bad at forgiving myself. Very bad at letting. I'm very good at dropping a standard altogether if I fail to meet it. Being like, fuck it. Let's just completely ignore that I'm aspiring to this thing now. Just fucking don't even think about it. That I'm good at. I'm very good at pretending that I'm too good for something, or pretending that I don't want or like something anymore, just so I don't hold myself accountable to my failure to meet a goal, or my failure to engage in self-discipline or whatever else. Very good at that. And it's nice to slowly, in my maturation, be able to patient, forgiving, and like recognizing when things really aren't a big deal. And sure, like in the past I could logically recognize it, but there's a difference between knowing something and feeling something. Oh, I painted yesterday too. I have some glow-in-the-dark paint. I've been meaning to paint some of the furniture in my bedroom with for the longest time. Not so it's just like a fucking rave in there, but because I know the layout of my bedroom fairly well. I can walk through it in the dark without walking into anything. In complete black. I mean, I can navigate it. Other people, though, other people might have a little bit of trouble. So right now, my dresser glows very faintly in the dark. And it's weird, but I'm never going to run into that thing ever again. If I'm falling in the dark, I can see what not to grab on, because that sure shit can't support my weight, because calling it a dresser is generous. It's a series of organizational cubes stacked in a weird way that I think looks neat, that has little pull-out drawers. It works fine. Yeah, I've been looking for glow-in-the-dark stuff for my bedroom for the longest time, because I've talked about this. My bedroom is behind a series of black-out curtains in between it and the living room. The living room then has its own blackout curtains on the windows. So, ain't nothing getting back to the bedroom. Nothing. And it just sounds nice as like a little flavor piece, but everything glow in the dark I can find, I hate. Like the little glow in the dark rocks, I kind of dig those, but I don't want to feel like I'm living in a fucking fish tank. The glow in the dark stars are not for me. I'm not a child. I still think they're kind of neat. Like if I could do them in a way where I actually make real constellations on the ceiling, maybe like that's a bit more of like a, you know, leveled up equivalent. Still not really my thing. Maybe like lining underneath my mattress, so like but then you know, I'm basically outfitting my fucking bed with LEDs at that point. That aren't LEDs, but you know, it looks tacky. Glow in the dark is so fucking tacky. I want it to look good. I should get just some fucking oh, it's not uranium. Some uranium glows in the dark. There's some radioactive rock that's mundane enough, safe enough to have around that glows in the dark. I forget what it is. I loved it. I think it glows glue. Glows blue. Last time I saw it, I was a teenager. I honestly could not tell you. That might be kind of cool. But having like a rock, let alone a radioactive one, just sitting around in my place, nah. So I'm still on a quest for better glow in the dark shit. Yeah. Wow, it's crazy. Normally when I start cleaning my apartment, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, after like a month or two of not doing laundry, and yeah, it gets that bad because I'm depressed. And also like, I've been staying inside. I haven't been working up a sweat. My clothes really don't get dirty. So there hasn't really been a great need to do laundry very often, and I have enough sheets I can just switch those out. So I've been only doing it once a month, once every 2 months. I'll do that, and then I'll start frantically cleaning while I'm running laundry, and then I'll switch that to the dryer, and then I'll keep frantically cleaning, and then once, you know, stuff's out of the dryer, I'm fucking exhausted, I don't have the energy to put stuff away, and I basically just burn myself out one day. I just take the entire day and clean the whole fucking place top to bottom, and I cut a lot of corners when I do it. Every day just having one room, dude. That rocks. Because then I can take the time to focus on particular room, thoughts I've been having, feelings I've been having, problems I've been having with it, and think about, okay, how can I improve on this? What can I iterate on this? How do I feel about the layout? What do I want to work with here? What do I want to add to? And just imagine a little bit while doing the mundane shit of cleaning. Like the painting that I was talking about, I've been putting off for over a year now, and just being like, well, today's my day to work on this room. Let's poke around with that. Let's give it a try. And it was nice. Today was cooking, so I mean, I did the dishes because I had to. The dishes sit on an interesting line. Should do the dishes be a cooking day thing, which I do once a week, or should it be a kitchen day thing, which I do once a week? Well, the dirty dishes are in the kitchen, and yet I do need to clean them in order to cook, to have access to the sink, or I make dirty dishes, and it's typically best to just clean them immediately. It's a silly conundrum. I haven't had a lot of takeaways today in, like, ways I can improve cooking. You know how I can improve cooking? Not having to fucking do it. Like, hard-boiled eggs are very good for you. They're relatively easy to make, but shelling them is just, standing half leaned over the fucking kitchen sink. It's hell on my back. And just have a lot of time to not be able to hear anything in the other room or music very clearly. Just be like, this sucks. This sucks. But it's way better than, like, cracking those eggs and, like, making scrambled eggs or an omelet or whatever. Because, holy shit, cleaning cooked eggs sucks. It sticks too quickly, it smells bad, it's just... I legit, the other day, was thinking, what if I just start eating them raw? What if I... that's where I'm at. And it's generally considered safe to eat eggs raw, but there's like a tiny chance of salmonella. That sounds like a terrible time. And like, even if I ate them raw, I'd still have to do away with the shells. So that doesn't really save me on the I'm making shell trash problem. And it just sounds thoroughly unpleasant to just, you know, take shots of eggs, so I'd want to, like, make up a smoothie or some shit to put them in, and then I'd have to, like, completely rebalance my whole fucking nutrition planning thing, and oh my god. No, so hard-boiled it is. Like, that's the only hang up. Beyond that, I eat yogurt, I have a glass of milk, I have a salad, a very basic ass salad. Right now it's not so basic. Right now there's some new stuff in season that I'm seriously regretting getting because it all tastes too bitter to me, and I've been eating spinach, so other stuff shouldn't be tasting bitter by comparison, but it do be though. And I have peanuts and sunflower seeds, rice and beans. That's it. It's pretty simple. I need to mix in carrots there a little bit for I should not be chewing my hangnail. I can't remember for something. I take a multivitamin too. So really the only things I'm really possibly running a deficit on are vitamin D, which is part of why I have the 2 hours of get the fuck out of the apartment every day rule. Even though I'm getting vitamin D, I'm like here down and that's it in my fucking face. It's something, it's a start. I'm not going sunbathing yet. Maybe ever. Calcium, also kind of tricky. And then protein. Protein, I think I'm getting enough, and if I'm not, yeah, fuck it, I'll, like, let myself go out to eat with other people. I'm not letting myself order out anymore. If I do, I have to pick it up myself. Again, just incentive to get out and awkwardly interact with the public rather than the poor, underpaid Grubhub or DoorDash or whoever driver who's dropping stuff off. And it saves me on paying those ludicrous delivery fees that don't even go to the driver. There's a lot of reasons to get off of it. I completely forgot where I was going with this. I've been talking about my diet for some fucking reason. My head is very, very well screwed on. Not at all kind of floaty. Part of that is little bit of sunburn. Little bit of sunburn. Not so much here, but like, nah, it's not looking so bad today. My forearms were quite red from going out last week and drinking a lot in the sun. Well, not a lot. Drinking in the sun. Bad combination. Bad combination. Fun combination. Nice combination in the moment. Bad combination when you... Next day, like, why do my arms hurt? Well, dummy, your arms hurt. Because... your albino ass was sitting out in the sun. I've been poking around with dating apps again. Like, I was streaming me going through the fucking questions for OkCupid. I have like 100-something likes on there, and I don't know, like over a dozen matches. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I don't actually want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do the whole back and forth. Like, hi, let's get to know each other. Make small talk about things on your profile. Make small talk about things on my profile. Make sure we're not crazy people. Hey, you want to meet up? Sure. It sounds nice to get to the point where you're actually clicking with someone, getting along, and either making a new friend, or finding yourself romantically or sexually involved with someone, or both. That part's great. The tedium of, hello, fellow human. That part sucks. That part fucking sucks. I gotta fucking do it. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time and everybody else's time. And I don't know. Real thing I should be thinking about is what the fuck I'm doing tomorrow with my get the fuck out time. Because I'm running out of thrift stores. There are more thrift stores, but they're all like not walking range anymore. Not short walk range anymore. I could go to the International District, which has a very cool one, from what I've been told, but it is... that's like a 15-20 minute bus ride. But I don't want to ride the bus. I want to be out walking. So fuck, I might just go take photos along the water tomorrow. Or just go sit in a fucking park and like read. That's fine too. I just gotta be out amongst the public. I gotta find something regular to do. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But right now I'm just like, fuck. I need to find a fucking bar that's like half an hour walk away, so I can walk to it, get a drink, hang out there for like an hour, and then go home. And that's my 2 hours of getting out. But of course, the spirit of the outing part of the schedule is that I'm actually like outside where the sun is. And it feels a little disingenuous to just be like, well, I'm gonna go from this indoor place to this indoor place. It's been a recurring thought I've had while I've been doing this scheduling bit. Yeah, capitalism really sucks. The whole 9-to-5 thing. How the fuck can you reasonably get 30 minutes of moderate physical activity per day, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, cook healthy meals, get the groceries for those healthy meals, clean up after yourself, wash your sheets weekly, or I think weekly is how often you should clean your bed. Wash your clothes once a week. Clean, like, deep clean each room in your home at least once per month, preferably like once per week if you get the time. Who the fuck has time to do all that in a 9 to 5? And you know the answer? Fucking nobody. That's why a lot of people are not sleeping enough. They're overworked, overstressed. Our whole economic model in the United States is predicated on this idea that you are married. You are married, you have a stay-at-home spouse who does all the chores and all the domestic work. That's naturally unpaid labor. Yeah, no, it's just, there's a lot of tedious work. When you start doing the math on it, it's like, this is some bullshit. This is some actual bullshit. Like, there's some pretty well-established baseline needs that people have, you know. 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Really, it's about 10. Most adults get closer to 6 hours of sleep per night. And that's restful sleep. That's not just got done with a run, time to go to sleep. Like, the best time to work out is in the morning. It's subjective. Best time to work out is whenever you actually work out. For me, that tends to be in the morning, because it's easy to wake up, do it, get it over with, and don't start making excuses about why I haven't done it yet. Because once I start finding dumb bullshit to get distracted with, I will stay distracted until I'm too tired to run anymore. Yeah, love to live in a capitalist hellscape. Love it. Just play Magnifique. Just beautiful. It's the tops, baby. It's just the tops. Okay. In the past, I've made fun of these establishments. There are bars, or at least there is a bar here in Seattle, whose entire premise is that you cannot use cell phones in the bar, or laptops, or anything else. Basically, the TLDR is treat it like it's 1990. You go in, you talk to people, you drink. And I'm like, that's kind of whack, right? Like, okay, yeah, I get you're trying to get people to connect to one another. Go back to ye good old days, which again, there are no good old days. It's all been fucking terrible forever. I get the notion. But it's actually been appealing these last few days. Like, oh, you know, it would be nice to just kind of vibe. I don't even want to talk to other people necessarily, but just like be in a space where phones don't come into play. Like, okay. If I hypothetically in college engaged in partying, which again hypothetically involved in Minecraft the use of hallucinogenic substances, if you know we were to imagine such a scenario, it would be in the scenario a contingent rule of this interaction that no phones were allowed, no technology, no clocks, first and foremost. Why? Because clocks are a bad trip, man. Having this thing be like, you should be feeling something by now. You should be feeling something by now. Oh, you're feeling something. Well, it'll be over soon. It'll be over soon. It's not over yet. You're only like a quarter of the way through. The constant, like, awareness of time sucks. Fucking sucks. And also the awareness of space outside of your space, of exes or friends you're fighting with, or family, or just other external feelings and commitment and experiences that aren't in the present moment with you can just rip you out and throw you out of the moment, right? Make a bad trip or become a focal point of your trip. And I kind of get the argument that it's sort of the same way with cell phones just all the fucking time. Just all the fucking time. People aren't really in the space they're in. They're trying to be somewhere else. They're trying to not be where they are. That they're trying to just move on or pretend or act like they're somewhere else. I sort of get it. I do. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because, truth be told, most spaces that I'm in, I don't want to be in. Most places that I'm in, that I'm on my phone, I kind of just don't want to be in it. When I'm on the bus, I want to be off of the bus. I want to be where I am going. When I'm waiting for the bus, I want to be where I am going, right? When I'm walking around with my phone out, I want to be wherever the fuck I'm trying to go. When it's occasional, like I'll be having a conversation with someone, I'll check my phone. Not always because I want out of the situation, but that can often be a nonverbal cue that we give one another of like, hey, I'm bored. Hey, I don't really want to be here anymore. It's a polite way of being like, wrap it up. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think those social cues, they have a role. A very useful role. And, like, it's an incredible gift having the totality of human knowledge and modern human knowledge and experience that's been recorded on this fucking object. It is an incredible gift. But it also becomes such a fixation. It's so distracting for people. You can just be looking at it constantly and not really focusing on where you are and what you're doing. It's a tough line to walk. So, yeah, I'm kind of getting the appeal. But I still struggle with the notion of, even at such a bar, wherein people are expected and in fact encouraged to strike up conversation with, how do you do that in a way that's completely safe? Not for me, but for the other person. In a way that doesn't run the risk of making someone feel uncomfortable. Don't be a creep. Don't say anything that would make them uncomfortable. Sure. But, like, sometimes even the fact that someone is talking to you can make you uncomfortable. Even the fact that, like, I've within the last few weeks had a DSA t-shirt on when I was walking to get lunch. Sure, something like that, with a friend of mine. And this lady walked past, and she said, "I like your shirt." Like, thank you. Right, I said thanks, but we're both wearing masks, so I can't fucking see her body language. And we're passing each other, and there are other people around, so it's not like we can really stop and talk. Not awkwardly. Yeah, it's just a really difficult situation to be like, okay, like, showing solidarity, I like that. What do I do from here? Like, how does this interaction turn into a conversation? Like, I can say, if it weren't about a very branded piece of attire, oh yeah, thanks, I got it at blah de blah. That's a way to start making it a longer conversation, because then you're sharing with that person how they can get that thing themselves. You're forming a connection around a shared affinity towards this object or idea, which was already kind of pre-established in liking a shirt expressing a certain political philosophy or inclination. Yeah, I don't know. In college, I would have people compliment the graphic tees that I wore. Like, one, it's a white shirt with a fucking mustache on it. And it's, like, kind of evocative and, like, haha, mustache, right? But, like, I don't know. That's never been why I wear it. I wear it because it's kind of, like, steampunky. It's kind of evocative of, like, this Victorian style, but it's very modern at the same time, and I like that juxtaposition. Of course, I don't have, like, a magnificent mustache, but people, women would compliment that shirt. What do I do with that? I say thank you. Right? You could do the body retort of it, like, making some sort of mustache ride joke there, but there's nothing inherent in that interaction indicating that that's where they want the conversation to go. In fact, there's nothing inherent in the interaction where they want the conversation to go. The line of, like, hi, I like your blank, unless we are just talking about the thing, I do not know what we are talking about. Because I don't want to assume, because I could really misread a situation, and we could both have a pretty bad day because of it. I don't want that. Instead, I just want to assume you are talking about what you want to fucking talk about, and meet you on that. And if you want to make innuendo, Lord, please do. Please make the first move, because I just feel wildly uncomfortable doing it. I am a shy person by disposition, I think. I'm a very sociable person, but when it comes to provocation, when it comes to situations where I am concerned that I might in any way make someone feel uncomfortable, or really uncomfortable, it just is a baseline, won't do it, just won't take that risk. It's definitely not it's not making things easier, right? It's not doing me favors. Like, how the fuck do you meet people at bars? I've met people at bars, and I don't know how I've met people at bars. Like, the way I meet people at bars is sitting at the bar, drinking, talking to the bartender, and then the bartender leaves, and the other people at the bar start talking to me. That's about it. Or I have a mutual friend who they talk to. I meet people through people. I meet people through friends of mine. I'm a fucking social group transmitted disease, right? I especially when I was a teenager, would just meet a cool person, then hang out with them, meet all their friends, pick out the coolest one, hang out with them, meet all their friends, and just keep meeting all these fucking cool people. People that, resonated with me. And I just do that. Repeating. I would just latch onto people, like a parasite, take the parts of their social network I liked, make it my own, and then rinse and repeat. And, I could do that. But I don't really have the initial step here. I kinda did when I first moved here and I was working at the hostel. I kinda did when the person I was dating for a long time while living here, but the thing is, all of her friends that I met I didn't like. One I liked. One I liked a lot. But most of them I did not like. Matter of fact, I was turned off to the whole notion of getting to know her friends pretty early on because someone I thought was a friend of hers, a coworker of hers, seemed obviously interested in me. And at the time, we were not monogamous. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not going to pursue anything there because, like, we haven't been dating for long. But then this coworker asked us out on, like, a double date. And I'm like, sure, it sounds great. And my partner's like, no, I don't want to. Okay, so I'm just, there are people in your life I'm genuinely excited about getting to know, and that would make you uncomfortable, so I'm just not going to do that. And then there are other people in your life you want me to know who I just do not give a shit about, or just bore the hell out, not even bore the hell out of me. Her oldest friends here are incredibly juvenile. And superficial, boring, not interesting, not at all. I have one old pal here who I befriended when I first started living in Seattle, and I'd love to see him again. We only hang out like once every 2 years, because he works nights and I used to work nights, and then there was the whole pandemic thing. And I should get a hold of him. Luke is his name. Luke, we should get a drink. Good guy. Smart guy. Love being around him. Where the fuck was I going with this? Oh, he's a prime example of good people I met that I wish had been easier to keep actively in my life. But, you know, it's easy to hang out with someone when you fucking live with them. It's a lot harder when you live on opposite ends of the city, both working very unusual schedules. And when I, anyway, am desperately trying to sustain an unsustainable relationship. Yeah. So I finished Lucifer. Like the day the new season, last season finished. And I haven't talked to anyone about it yet. Because every time I bring it up to friends, they're like, oh yeah, I need to finish that. Oh, it seems good. Oh, I love that show. I'm like, you're fucking killing me. You're fucking killing me. Like, there's a lot I want to dig into, but I just haven't done it. And as more time passes, I can't remember what stuck with me so much, so now there's only like a couple of points. The God character, I like a lot, because he's kind of distant and like out of touch. I think that's a really neat idea for God. They could have gone about it in a lot of ways that would have been boring or old hat, but it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. But more, I've been thinking about this ongoing narrative that Lucifer struggles with this idea of not being good enough. Not being good enough for his love interest. And at the end of the fucking show, he is trying to prove to himself that he is good enough by becoming God's successor in order to prove he's deserving of the love of a normal human woman. And yeah, it's an impossible task. It's an impossible task for those of us, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, who struggle with loving yourself, like really loving yourself, not just like liking parts of yourself, but loving yourself, giving yourself permission to be loved, to be worthy of other people's love, and all the bullshit prerequisites we come up with in our minds for, well, if I'll do this, then I'm good enough, or if I do this, I'll be good enough. I need to work out more, and you know, I can't date anyone until, like, I can take care of myself, or I'm financially stable, or I am very well into therapy, so my anxiety or depression aren't so bad anymore, or I can't get in a relationship with anyone until I'm absolutely positively over my last relationship in every way. Like I have this tendency to be like self-doubting right now with dating. Like, I'm unemployed, and you know, I'm not where I want to be physically. Like, I want to work out and actually stick to a fucking workout for ever, ideally, but for like a goddamn month. I want to, you know, I want to improve in this way and that way, and change this and fix that and do this and do that and do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. And then, you know, once I do all these forever cascading tasks, finally I'll be good enough. Finally I'll be okay enough. But what Lucifer, you know, hyperbole, it takes it to this hyperbole of an extreme. I think it really well encapsulates this impossible pursuit of trying to be deserving or worthy, when love is never about that. Love is never about what you deserve or what you're worthy of. Love is a gift. Love is just a sentiment and a feeling. It's something that you give. It's not something that you earn. You don't earn someone's love. If you do, that's not love. That's a transactional relationship. And a lot of relationships are transactional. Even very meaningful relationships can be transactional. Like the whole fucking root of this idea of love is that it's selfless. And yeah, we can get into semantics about how maybe nothing is truly selfless, because doing something supposedly selfless makes us feel good, and we like that feeling of feeling good, and we like feeling like we're doing selfless things because it makes us feel good, and we know that it helps the other person, which also makes us feel good. So maybe we're just doing it to feel good, and at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you're helping someone and they're getting help, right? The material the material consequence matters more than the reasoning and the rationale. So too with love, so too with relationships. It's so easy to think your way into a fucking hole and just live in there forever. At a certain point, you just gotta accept that, like, you are enough. You're enough. You're good enough. You deserve love. You deserve to be cared for and liked and loved and seen in good light for all the wonderful things that you are, all the wonderful things that you feel and do and believe. You deserve to have those parts of you celebrated. You don't have to be perfect, because you can't be perfect. No one can be. There's always ways to improve, and really, that's a beautiful and ambitious attitude to be mindful and cognizant of all the ways that you want to improve, all the ways that you want to grow. But that's not a condition. That's not a prerequisite. You don't have to be better and better and better and better, because, yeah, there are going to be people who don't like you. There are going to be people who see you and, you know, the interest fizzles. They get a little spark and then it doesn't go anywhere. Or there are going to be people who see you and just like, nah, because, like, it happens. But, you know, somebody, somewhere, somehow will like you. Maybe not love you, maybe not want to fuck you, maybe not want to get married to you, maybe not want to have, you know, two ships crossing in the night rendezvous with you. Maybe not even, like, want to have any physical in-person relationship with you. But you're gonna connect with people if you put yourself out there. You're gonna resonate with people if you try. If you show vulnerability and good faith, if you listen, if you share, if you really meaningfully try to engage with people, you will find points where you meet, where you engage, where you click. You're gonna find what you're looking for. Or something, hopefully, more likely, is you'll find something that you weren't looking for that you needed a lot more than the thing you were looking for. See, I can say all that and still I'm wildly unmotivated to actually walk the walk myself. It's just continued proof that being a competent counselor or therapist or a motivational speaker or whatever is not contingent on being completely put together yourself. Nope. It's just about knowing good answers and knowing good practices, even if you don't practice them yourself. Yeah, I didn't really set out with an end goal of what to talk about tonight in mind. For about an hour. I have like 2 hours slotted for this, but I did spend a while. Oh yeah, I only have like 5 minutes left for this. I did spend a long time just like staring and going like, I don't know what to stream. I don't know what to play today. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this meandering, me just talking into the void. I like doing it, even if no one's watching this, even if no one's listening. It's nice to externalize this, and honestly, may make you a crazy person or make you feel like a crazy person do it, but I highly advocate it. I really do. The way that we process things when we are speaking, rather than when we are just thinking, or the way that we process things when we're writing, are very, very different. I'm a huge proponent of writing, of journaling, of keeping a diary, if that's what you want to call it, a notebook, whatever. Because if you take time to write down there's something you're struggling with or dealing with, and the physical sensation of movement, of, paper on pen or pencil or what have you, that can kind of take you out of depressive or manic episodes. That kind of physical feedback can help ground you a little bit. It's not gonna be a magic fix, nothing fucking is. I mean, like, antipsychotic medicine might, but wouldn't recommend. Like, basic tactile things can help, and so too can talking, just rambling, because you're going through the same sort of processes of feeling or thinking or considering a thing, but you're slowing it down. You are considering how to express that most concisely and precisely at the same time, and in doing so you're teasing it out, you're feeling it, you're analyzing it more slowly and softly, I guess is the word I'd use, which is weird in this context, than you might otherwise. It's a lot of what some folks get out of therapy. There's a lot more than just the sensation of talking that you get out of therapy. You get a trained professional on the other end who can, with schooling, be able to help process these things, guide you into mechanisms and behaviors that can help with what you're dealing with, or might be able to offer insight. It's the same sort of thing that people get from talking to friends. Because oftentimes when you're telling a friend about a thing, you're not actually asking for advice. You're just processing by using them as a conduit. So yeah, big proponent. Yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow with, if I don't have this like low intensity kind of, it's not even a migraine, it's more just like the sensation of white noise in my brain. If I don't have that going on tomorrow, I might do some coding. I'd like to, because I really like this idea. It'd be nice to start putting, I was gonna say putting it on paper, but it's definitely shouldn't be on paper, it should be on Notepad++. I'd love to start on a new game, a new campaign or something, but like, I don't know, nothing's really speaking to me. If it were, I'd be playing it right now, so I don't know. I thought about reaching out to a couple of friends for a collab, but I don't really have an idea as to what, so it's kind of hard to be like, hey, I'd like to stream and record something with you. What? Fuck, I don't know. Not a very helpful place to start from, but yeah, we'll see. In the meantime, you know, thanks for hanging out. I've been me, you've been you. I am very much still alive, despite my inconsistent streaming and consistent absences. And yeah, more stuff will be up when it's up. Until then, I'm gonna say, take care. Toodaloo. See you then. Bye-bye.